My name is Aiden, and until a few months ago, I thought I had a pretty good read on people, especially men. Living alone in a quiet apartment complex in the city, you get used to routine. You learn to watch people. You notice how someone carries their groceries, whether they nod when you pass by, how they smile, if they mean it, or if it's just habit. And then I met Ethan. He moved into the unit next to mine in early spring. He had a strong, square jaw, permanent stubble like he couldn't be bothered to shave, and those quiet, brooding eyes you'd see in some indie film where the guy never says much, but somehow steals every scene. He was straight. At least, that's what I told myself. The day he moved in, I offered to help carry some boxes. His handshake was firm, calloused fingers, and warm. He wore a faded gray t-shirt that clung to his chest in all the wrong ways, for me. I caught myself looking. I also caught him noticing. Just for a second. "Thanks, man," he said, slapping me on the back like we'd been friends for years. "Name's Ethan. Aiden." "Next door," I replied. Over the next few weeks, we settled into a rhythm. He borrowed tools. I borrowed his confidence. We shared drinks on my balcony. Beers turned into whiskey. Small talk turned into long conversations. He had a girlfriend, Maddie, blonde, warm smile, corporate type. She stayed over a few nights a week but was always gone by morning. Ethan never spoke about her much, and when he did, it felt rehearsed. Like he was saying what he was supposed to say, not what he felt. Still, I kept my distance. I'd been down that road before, falling for someone unavailable. Someone confused. Someone who could take but never give. I wasn't going to be that guy again. But Ethan made it hard. There were moments that stuck to my skin long after he left. Like the night we were fixing a busted drawer in my kitchen, and he stood behind me, reaching over my shoulder. His breath hit the side of my neck. His chest brushed my back. I turned to say something, anything, and found his eyes locked on mine. Neither of us spoke. We didn't have to. Something passed between us. A flicker. A mistake. A maybe. I pulled away first. "Hand me the screwdriver," I muttered. He didn't move for a second. Then nodded. "Yeah, sure." He started coming over more often, even when Maddie wasn't away. Sometimes he'd knock with no real reason, "Just bored," he'd say. Other times, he'd text, "You up?" Simple. Direct. Loaded. I tried to rationalize it. Straight guys flirt sometimes, without meaning anything by it. They crave attention, validation. They toe the line and back away. I told myself Ethan was just being friendly, that I was projecting. But then came that night. We were sitting on my couch, watching some dumb action movie neither of us really cared about. The lights were low, rain tapping against the window. We both had a drink in hand. Ethan sat close, closer than usual. His thigh brushed mine. I didn't move. Halfway through the film, I cracked a joke, something about how terrible the plot was. He laughed, low and quiet, then turned to me. "You're easy to talk to," he said. "Yeah." He nodded. Like, "I don't have to pretend with you." There was a pause. Then it happened. His hand slipped down, slowly, fingers grazing my thigh, purposeful but hesitant. I froze. My breath caught. The room shrank. The movie still played, but it might as well have vanished. His eyes searched mine, almost challenging me to stop him. Or dare him. I didn't speak. I couldn't. Then, just like that, he pulled his hand back. Cleared his throat. "I should go," he said, standing up too fast. "Okay," I whispered. My voice didn't sound like mine. He left without another word. I sat there for a long time, staring at the empty space beside me. Where he had been. Where his hand had been. Was it real? Was it enough? Was it the beginning, or the beginning of the end? Ethan didn't text the next day. Or the day after. I thought maybe I imagined it, that moment on the couch, his hand on my thigh, the way he looked at me like he wanted more. Maybe it was the whiskey. Maybe it was loneliness. Maybe I wanted something so badly I made it up. But then, on the third day, I opened my door to take out the trash and nearly bumped into him. He stood there, hoodie up, hands buried in his pockets. Rain was misting from above, clinging to his hair, and his eyes were different, guarded. "Hey," he said, like it was any other day. I forced a smile. "Hey." He hesitated. "Got any coffee?" I stepped aside, wordless, and let him in. We didn't talk about what happened. Not that morning. He sat at the kitchen counter, sipping the coffee I made, while I pretended to scroll my phone. But every now and then, I'd catch him watching me. Not subtly. Not accidentally. When he left, he touched my shoulder. Briefly. Firmly. Like he wanted to say something but didn't know how. That was Ethan. His body always spoke louder than his words. 2 nights later, he came over again. This time, he brought a bottle of bourbon. No pretense. No girlfriend around. Just him, and that weight between us that neither of us wanted to name. We drank. Talked. Laughed like nothing was happening. But it was. His knee brushed mine. I didn't move. I leaned in to grab the bottle, and his fingers brushed my wrist. This time, he didn't pull away. "Aiden," he said suddenly, voice low. "You ever think about stuff that you don't talk about?" I looked at him. "All the time." His eyes dropped to my mouth. "Yeah, same." Silence settled between us, thick and heavy. Then he leaned in. Slowly. Deliberately. I didn't stop him. Our lips met, tentative at first. Then desperate. Like we'd both been holding our breath for weeks. He kissed me like he was drowning and I was the air. Like he didn't care what this meant or who he was supposed to be. When we finally pulled apart, he didn't say a word. He just stared at me, like seeing me for the first time. Then he stood, ran his hand through his hair, and walked out without looking back. I didn't sleep that night. My body was still buzzing from the kiss. My mind, though, it was screaming. He had a girlfriend. I wasn't that guy. I swore I'd never be that guy again. But Ethan made me forget all my rules. The next few days were worse than the silence before. Every sound from the apartment next door made my chest tighten. I imagined them together, him and Maddie, laughing, touching, kissing like he kissed me. I wanted to hate him, but I couldn't. Then, as I was heading to bed one night, a soft knock hit my door. I opened it and there he was. "Can we talk?" he asked. I stepped aside. He paced the room like a man with nowhere to put his guilt. "I don't know what the fuck I'm doing," he said finally. "I've never felt that before. What we did. That kiss." I folded my arms. "You kissed me, Ethan." He nodded. "I know." He sat down, elbows on knees, head in his hands. "I've been with girls my whole life. I thought that meant something. But when I'm with you, it's different. It feels real." "So what now?" I asked. He looked up, eyes wet. "I don't know." He reached for me again. Not for a kiss, just to hold my hand. And I let him. I knew it was a mistake. But I let him. Because in that moment, I wasn't thinking about right or wrong. I wasn't thinking about Maddie or labels or consequences. I was thinking about how his fingers fit so naturally in mine. I was thinking about how long it had been since I felt wanted. And God help me, I was thinking about the next time he'd kiss me again. After that night, everything shifted. Ethan stopped pretending. He didn't bring up Maddie. He didn't talk about what this meant. He just started showing up. It became routine, our secret, twisted ritual. Late-night knocks. Lingering touches. Whispers that weren't meant to exist outside these 4 walls. He'd slip into my apartment like a ghost. Sometimes he'd stay just long enough to kiss me breathless against the wall. Other times, we'd fall into bed and forget the world altogether. It was electric. Addictive. And wrong. But I couldn't stop. Neither could he. By day, he was still her boyfriend. Still the straight guy next door. But by night, he was mine. He belonged to no label, no rule, no category. Just desire. He'd lie beside me after, fingers tracing circles on my chest, his breath still ragged, and say things like, "I feel more alive with you than I have in years." It should have felt like a victory. But it didn't. It felt like a countdown. Every time he left before sunrise, I'd stare at the empty side of my bed and wonder how many more stolen nights we had left. We were on borrowed time, and I knew it. The secrecy became its own prison. We couldn't go out together. Couldn't even be seen grabbing coffee. When Maddie was around, he barely acknowledged me in public. He became colder. More guarded. Like he needed to armor up to survive her presence. But then he'd find an excuse to slip away, and I'd become his refuge again. It was intoxicating. And exhausting. One night, I confronted him. "You can't keep doing this," I said. "You can't live two lives." He was sitting on the edge of my bed, shirtless, still sweating from the mess we'd just made. He lit a cigarette, his hands shaking slightly. "I know," he said. "But I don't know how to let go of either." "That's not good enough, Ethan." He turned, met my eyes. "You think this is easy for me? I didn't plan this. I didn't plan you." "No one plans falling in love," I said. "But you don't get to fall and pretend it didn't happen." He looked like he wanted to say something. Maybe I love you, maybe I'm sorry, but instead he just crushed the cigarette out in my ashtray and walked out. He didn't come back for 4 days. I tried to convince myself it was over. That it was better this way. I deleted our texts. Cleaned the sheets. Told myself to move on. But the heart is a liar. Because the moment I heard that knock again, everything in me betrayed reason. I opened the door. He was drenched in rain, hoodie soaked, eyes rimmed red. He looked like he hadn't slept. Without a word, he stepped inside. "I told her," he said. My stomach dropped. "What?" "I told Maddie I've been seeing someone else." I didn't breathe. "I didn't say who," he added quickly. "Just that it's a man. That I'm confused. That I need space." "And how did she take it?" He laughed bitterly. "She called me a coward. A liar. Said I wasted years of her life." "Did you?" He didn't answer. Instead, he stepped closer, grabbed my face, and kissed me, hard, desperate, like this was all that mattered. When we pulled apart, I could taste guilt on his lips. "I'm not asking you to fix me," he whispered. "But I can't go back to pretending." I touched his jaw. "Then stop hiding." He stayed the night. In the morning, I woke up to an empty bed. Again. Only this time, he left a note. I kept Ethan's note folded in my wallet like a secret I couldn't let go of. "Don't give up on me. I'm trying." But trying wasn't enough. Not anymore. Weeks passed. His visits became less frequent, then erratic. Some nights he'd show up out of nowhere, wrap me in silence, press his body against mine like he couldn't stand the distance. Other nights, he disappeared altogether, leaving me cold and aching in the same bed we'd once set on fire. It was always the same excuse. "Work's been crazy. Maddie's going through something. I just need time." Time. That was the currency he paid me in, always promising more, always giving less. And I let him. Because I was in love with a man I couldn't have. A man who wanted to taste freedom, but not hold it. One night, I saw him at the grocery store. With her. Maddie. She was laughing at something he said, holding his arm like he still belonged to her. He looked normal. Straight. Like the version of Ethan the world knew and accepted. He didn't see me. Or maybe he did, and chose not to. Either way, it gutted me. I went home and didn't turn the lights on. Just sat in the dark, letting that image burn itself into my skull. Her hand on him. His fake smile. The lie they both lived. The one I was helping him tell. When he knocked on my door 2 nights later, I didn't answer. He knocked again. Then again. "Aiden," he called softly. "Please." I stayed still. I needed him to know what silence felt like. He slipped a note under the door. "Tell me what you need. I'll do it. Just don't shut me out." But I already had. Because I was no longer the other man. I was the mirror he was too afraid to look into. The next time we spoke was a week later. He waited outside my apartment, sitting on the steps, head in his hands. "I broke up with her," he said when I finally walked past him. I stopped. "Did you tell her why?" He nodded. "Told her I'm in love with someone else." I waited. Did you tell her it's me? His silence answered for him. My throat tightened. You don't get to have me in secret anymore, Ethan. I'm not ready for people to know, he said. Not like this. Then you're not ready for me. I started walking away. He grabbed my arm. Don't do this. I'm not your experiment. I'm not your excuse to feel something real when the rest of your life feels fake. I loved you. I waited. But you're still hiding. I'm scared, Aiden, he whispered. This is all new to me. I looked him dead in the eyes. It's not new anymore. It's just cowardice. His hand dropped. For a moment, I saw everything in his face, the fear, the desire, the shame, the longing. But it wasn't enough. Not anymore. He didn't chase me. And I didn't look back. It's been 3 months since I saw Ethan. Sometimes I still wonder if he ever told anyone the truth. If he remembers the taste of my lips. If he ever looks at the empty side of his bed and wishes it were me. But I don't wait for him anymore. I've started dating again. Quietly. Carefully. No secrets, no shadows. Love, I've learned, isn't supposed to feel like a war. It's supposed to feel like peace. Sometimes you have to walk away from the person you want, to find the person who's ready to want you back. And sometimes that person is you.